Hello there, right here we have a brand new snapshot. This is a second snapshot for Java. It is 20W46A. This comes with the Snowier Snow that they talked about during the Minecraft live event, as well as in the biome vote. We have a lot to look into, so make sure if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that, because we're getting very close to 200,000 subscribers. And after watching the video, join us on our testing stream, where you guys can come play with all the new features on our server. We got a new item in the game, and this is Powder Snow Bucket. And when we right click with this bucket, it produces these blocks, and we look at them. They're called Powder Snow. They look pretty similar to like a snow block or to a bunch of snow layers, but the blues and whites are a little bit more scattered. And you can walk through this powder snow. It makes you move a lot slower, and it also puts off these particles when you move through it. Now you can place this block up in the air and it'll just sit there. The thing with powder snow is that if anything walks on top of it, they will slowly fall through it. It's kind of like cobwebs, but a little bit faster. This will probably be implemented into the mountain ranges in Minecraft as a snowier snow. They also refer to this as like a snow trap. Now you can also scoop this up with a bucket. So it's very similar to like water or lava, and they only come in stacks of 1. Now if you're wearing leather boots, then you won't actually fall down through the powdered snow. So it's kind of like wearing snowshoes, which is pretty cool. Now the new mountains aren't added into the game, but the way you acquire the powdered snow is by leaving a cauldron out so that snowfall will be accumulated inside of it. And it uses the exact same mechanics as filling cauldrons with water as it does with filling cauldrons with powder snow. There's a new cauldron block called Powder Snow Cauldron, and you can see what it looks like when there is some snow inside of it. And just like a water cauldron, there is 3 levels, and once it is on the 3rd level, it does put a signal strength out similar to water, and you can also scoop it up. This will give you the powder snow bucket. Now you can't scoop it up if there's only 1 level. You have to wait until it fills up. Now so far they haven't automated dispensers with buckets on cauldrons, so doing something like this won't automatically pick up the snow. I really hope that comes to the game, because with this new feature and other ones that were added like the lava and water, it really makes sense that this should be in the game. But we can still automate this by having a bunch of cauldrons and a player come by on a minecart and right clicking the cauldrons, and once they're full, they're just going to scoop them up and the bucket's going to drop off his inventory and be collected by another system. It should be a lot of fun designing farms for this. And you guys can join us as we play around with these new features as we updated our Snapshot testing server, and we'll be streaming this live after this video. So click on my Twitch link down in the description to get all the information on how to join. Now powder snow actually has some pretty cool properties, which is when any mob goes inside of it, the mob will slowly start to freeze. Once they are frozen, then they will start taking damage. This freeze damage is done every few seconds to any entity that is considered frozen. And you can see that in the NBT thing, there's something called ticks frozen. So once it sits in the snow for 300 game ticks or 15 seconds, then it'll start getting this frozen damage applied to it. Now notice how the mob can also not like jump atop the snow layer to escape this. The 15 seconds went by and he started taking damage, and he takes damage every 3 seconds. So you can use this as a damaging system to kill mobs slowly. But there's definitely better damaging systems, like entity cramming or wither roses or soul campfires. Now players can also get this freezing damage applied to them. You can start seeing the animation on the screen as like crystals kind of move inwards on your screen, become more prominent. And then you start taking damage. Your health bar also turns these crystal blue color, and it makes a weird damaging sound. It's kind of cracking. Very cool animation. But by wearing leather armor, you can make it so that you'll freeze a lot more slowly. So if I put on the armor here, it's going to make it take a lot longer before it actually freeze. And they say that if you have a full set of leather armor, you should not freeze at all. Now I did get the hearts, and it does look like I'm still taking damage. Armor's not actually taking any damage, and I'm still taking damage from freezing. So that's something that'll probably change in the future. But when you do leave it, then the little frost from the edges is removed. Every time you do get damage, it does take half a heart. And when you actually do die from this, you get a death message saying you froze to death, which is pretty cool. Now you can't really escape this, but if you do put on your leather boots, you can actually climb up it like a ladder. So if I go in and push forward, it can't really do anything. That's what it looks like inside too. It looks kind of cool. If I put my boots on and push forward, I can climb it. And there is like different levels in there, like I can climb up to this level and climb up to this level, kind of like scaffolding. Currently, the new powder snow bucket is way down here, but they'll probably eventually put it up here with the rest of the buckets. They also made some more changes from the last snapshot. One of them is to lightning rods. Instead of drawing lightning from up to 64 blocks around the lightning rod, they've doubled that. So now it is 128, similar radius that mobs will spawn around a player. I'm really excited for this because this means that instead of people plastering lightning rods all over their base to try to keep the lightning from burning it down, they can put them just in a couple locations. So it doesn't become overwhelming, kind of like torches are when people are trying to keep mobs from spawning. They also changed the crafting recipe for copper blocks. Instead of taking 9 ingots, it only takes 4. They also made it so that the sky color will slowly change when moving to a different biome. They had some new features to the way you can change buttons. So like if I want to change this button, I normally would click through it like this. Now you can also use your scroll wheel while it is highlighted. You can scroll down to go to harder difficulties, or you can scroll up to go backward. You also can hold shift and click to do the opposite of what a normal click would do. And you can also access the debug world. Instead of pushing shift, now you'll have to use alt. Now if you click through here, you will eventually get the debug mode. This is a special world that shows all the different blocks in the game, the different variation. Really good world to go into when trying to come up with different ideas. This is what the world looks like. It has all the blocks, different rotations, different models. And every time they add like a block like candles, it adds a ton more blocks into the game because of all different variations and colors. And they also changed the models of a lot of different blocks and items. The shards, the cut copper, the lightning rod, the calcite looks a little more blocky. Also both amethyst blocks, they're more sporadic and less uniform. Also changed the tinted glass, less lines on it. The candle icon looks different when you hold it and in your inventory, as well as the copper ingot looks more rustic. Plus they did a change to the bundles, so you can see what the bundles look like. Now they also show the icons inside of them. So it makes it very easy to see what's inside of there. And then if there's multiple types inside of a bundle, it has a little number beside it. Take the empty bundle and I right click on this. See, now it's going to show the arrows. The little plus sign shows that you can add more things to it. So let's go ahead and add a whole bunch more blocks to it and see what it looks like. Looks like it's getting pretty close to full. Let's keep adding some more. Almost full, and now it's full. Wow, you can see every single block inside of it. That's pretty cool. That's different than shulkers, which you can only see the first couple items, and that's only their names, not the images. So very useful and handy for seeing what's in there. But not very easy to get the items out, as when you right click it, it's going to try to fill your inventory up and then throw the rest onto the ground. You can't take out a specific item. They did some more technical changes in this snapshot, which is, first one being they removed the actual replace item command. So it's not even a command you could choose, but they added a new command called item. And this uses the same syntax as like the loot table functions. So we can do like item, entity, myself, and then can change stuff like my chest slot to something else. They also updated the data pack version, so it's now up to 7. And loot tables can now access scoreboard values by UUID. And also loot tables that have values inside of random number generators can be nested inside of each other to get further randomness. They also made the default mode of a structure block to be in the loaded state. So if you open it up, it says loaded, where I actually keep a special structure block just for saving stuff that's always in the save mode. Because I actually find that more useful than the loading mode, because you do a lot more saving than you do loading. The loot table also has some new conditions, which are value check, score, set damage, set count, and copy NBT. They also have new functions, which are set enchantments, and new value providers, which are score. For the restart pack changes, they made a change to drown texture mirroring, as well as the slot game mode selector now being 26 pixels instead of 25. They fixed quite a few bugs in this snapshot. The first one being when you summon a TNT with a specific type of fuse, meaning how long it should sit there before it actually blows up. This command never really worked properly. Let's go ahead and give it a try. TNT will sit there with its fuse and then it will eventually blow up. There was a bug that Endermen would attack Ender mites that were summoned in using like the summon command or like a spawn egg. In the past, you would have to do this command here to make it be a player spawn one, so the Enderman would try to go after it. But with this bug fixed, now we shouldn't have a problem with that. There has been some inconsistent naming. You can see like the gold block, the actual name that Minecraft uses, which is down below, it says Minecraft gold_block, is different than what the title says, which is block of gold. And even the new amethyst has the same thing, where it says block of amethyst versus amethyst block. In the new snapshot, this has now changed the way it used to be. In the past, when you summon a wither, the health bar used to slowly fill in. You guys might remember that. But ever since 1.9, it no longer does that. And they went ahead and added this back in the new snapshot. They fixed the replace item command so it can now be used to swap out horses' saddles. There's a problem that if you give yourself a filled map with an ID of 0, it would end up creating another map with the same number as a previous one. There was a bug that sometimes items would end up getting deleted when crafting with a full inventory. This problem has been around since 1.13, but is now fixed. When giving yourself a banner with a base color, it would end up displaying the raw translation of the string. Inside the game mode switcher, the icons inside the little boxes are a little bit off to the right. They went ahead and centered them. Now, even though you can't plant kelp onto magma blocks, it was possible for them to generate on top of magma blocks that came in those underwater ravines. So this should no longer be possible. Food that was placed on campfires was popping off when being extinguished. This is now fixed in the new snapshot because they do have it so you can also put food on non-lit campfires, just for decoration. When we move these sliders all the way to the off position, the spelling of off is different than in other areas where it's all capitalized. Now they made that consistent. Now when you eat pufferfish, you're only supposed to get poison 2, but it's been giving Poison 4 for quite a while, ever since 1.16.1. But both Poison 4 and Poison 2 actually do the same amount of damage. There's a problem that the game was crashing when making a super flat world. There was a problem that shulker boxes were opening up just like they were living shulkers. This is something we noticed during our testing stream, and I showcased it in a couple different videos, and now this is fixed in the newest snapshot. One of you guys actually sent me this picture here showing that different floral was not actually generating in the nether dimension. This bug is now fixed. With the recent changes made to XP orbs where they kind of merge together, there was a problem that if you would die, some of the XP orbs wouldn't be able to be picked up. They fixed the problem to do with spyglasses when used in multiplayer. When you would use it, it looked like you normally like stick it up to your eye looking through it, but when other people would see you, it looked like you had it like turned sideways. They also fixed the bug where you weren't able to collect the 3 smaller sizes of amethyst buds with Silk Touch. Now you can collect all these sizes in survival. So my amethyst bud farm will actually work for all sizes depending on where you aim. They fixed a bug to do with when you have overstacked items inside of a bundle using a command. It'd create this extremely long bar here. You can see how long this bar is. If I grab this bundle, you can see this bar is very, very long. Looks very strange. You might notice the bug here. For some reason, Ocelot and some of the cats were missing one of their front legs. I have no clue how this happened, but it is now fixed in the current snapshot. When going through menus, you can also use the tab button to move different buttons. You don't actually need a mouse. But when in the LAN world tab, it always starts in the bottom left and then moves its way back up to the top, where everything else moves from top left to bottom right. So it now works properly. There was a bug where some hostile mobs weren't despawning when setting the game mode difficulty to peaceful. Armor stands weren't actually standing on their base. You can see there's a little bit of gap between them. There was a problem when the player would have a levitation effect. These particles would be produced. When the player would die, the particles would still stay there mid-air stuck. When summoning in a no AI creeper, and when you would ignite him, he's supposed to blow up, the creeper would sometimes end up staying there and not disappearing. So they fixed quite a few bugs to do with older versions as well as a snapshot. We still didn't see some of the dupe bugs get fixed, like amethyst dupe or the candle dupe, or even a bundle dupe that one of you guys messaged me about and Eagle Latch made a video about. And there's stuff like weather copper block still having a capital K, the wax cover still being able to be oxidized, and like water bottles don't actually put out candles. And there's a problem that if you move a lightning rod while it's getting struck, it'll stay powered, kind of like we've seen with the target block and the observers when they were first added into the game. But they still have a lot of time to fix these bugs. Let me know if there's anything you guys want us to test to do with the newest snapshot. Don't forget to join our live streams, which is going on right now as we test out the newest snapshot with the viewers. You guys can join our world, mess around with all the new things with us. And don't forget to drop a follow while you're there. That's everything about this snapshot. Remember, if you made it this far, to leave a like as well as share the video with others. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.